Alright, time now is 3:03 p.m. Fuck me. Um, I slept from 5:30 to 2:45. And yeah, again, because of daylight savings, that's actually more like 4:30 to 1:35, by the way. Yeah, that's a little more than 9 hours. It's kind of fucking insane because when I woke up, I look at the clock and it says 1:45, so I'm like, oh, it's only 1:45. But it's just now when I turned on my phone, I'm like, hold on. Oh yeah. So that's kind of fucking stupid. It's March 11th on a Monday, and it's a day 4 out of 10 in spring break. By the time we reach tomorrow, we would have already finished half of the spring break. Fuck me, am I right? Um, yeah, so today I'm not gonna do anything, which kind of sucks because I wish I could do something, but no, I'm not gonna do anything. I think I'm gonna go to Target to buy a hair dryer and a non-stick pan, for starters. I kind of want to, I thought about buying it alongside with the plastic cabinet and the toilet paper rack. Do I even have space to put my toilet paper rack? I don't know. Um, but then it's like, um, I don't know. I want the pan as soon as possible, right? And I want a hair dryer as soon as possible so that I can make my hair look better. This is getting sloppy and out of hand. Um, and I just want to go there to see if I can find a toilet paper rack or not. Doesn't seem like something that Target has. Target doesn't have everything. That's one thing. Second of all, I'm just gonna rest up and not do anything. Edit videos, film reviews, the likes, you know the drill. Nothing fancy. Once again, I'm gonna try to sleep earlier. Last night was 5:30. 2 nights ago was 6 a.m. So there's a slight improvement there, but only very, very slightly. Let's say I sleep earlier than 5 by tonight. I also want to work out and draw. And that's pretty much it. Last night, it was a little more productive than I thought it would be because I managed to finish editing a review. I edited a college update video, and I finished editing my Love and Death commentary part 1 out of 2, and that's already 1.5 hours. The whole thing's probably going to be 3 hours long, and rightfully so. But yeah, last night I was really switching from laptop to laptop because I have two laptops here, right? So I finished editing a review here and I switched to that one to edit my college video. And while that's exporting, I switched back to this one to edit my Japan vlog in Cantonese. And then I switched back to that one. So I keep jumping back and forth. And that's fucking crazy. But yeah, I ended up not really finishing Expats episode 5, which is fine. I can finish it today. I have time, no worries. And yeah, Jonathan has agreed to go to my place to do a movie night on Thursday. But first, I need to figure out if I can. It's a wall mounted TV, so I need to figure out how to connect an HDMI cable to the TV first and foremost, because otherwise, then the whole thing is ruined. This is why Blu-rays are actually very difficult to handle. You need a TV, you need HDMI cable, you need to make sure both of those things work. You need a Blu-ray player, and you can use a PS4 or a PS5, but a PS4 cannot play anything 4K. And also you need a disc player in the PS4 in order for it to work. So it's really complicated. And then the Blu-rays themselves with the regions and all that stuff and the additions and whatever, it's just crazy. It's a whole rabbit hole, but hopefully we can figure this out. Tomorrow Cliff just confirmed with me that I can go to CMD to meet him up to edit. Yeah, I think it's CMD, right? And not his place, right? I don't know, either way, I'm fine. I kind of want to go to CMD because the photography professor and Professor Antonio are ignoring me. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Maybe neither of them read emails, but I need that letter of rec pretty badly. What else? I think not much else. I think I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the day, and it's gonna be nice. And yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just yeah. I had a dream, and that's like right before I woke up. Where a couple of old classmates, I think people from secondary school, but they're sort of like an amalgamation of multiple people I know. Like there's a girl and a guy, and the guy feels like someone between Hans or Tom or Ernest or Kingsley, and the girl looks like Miriam, but she's more of a, I don't know, someone who looks down on me before. I don't really know. So they came up to me and they were like, "Oh, we have a script idea for you." Or maybe both of them are from my previous college. But they're like, "Oh, we have a script idea for you, and just we want to apologize because back in the day we didn't know that we didn't understand your script, but now that we see your vision and all that stuff, and it's actually really good. Back then I complained that if I were you, I would suffer. Like she told me if she was me, she would suffer because only a man who suffers can write such torturous art. And then my thought was, honestly, you're probably right. My scripts do suck. A, B, I want to take a break. After Objects in Mirror, I'm kind of done for like 2 years. So don't, I just don't want to make any short films anymore. For the next 2 years, I'm done. So, yeah. And in a way, that's a little true. I think, I don't know, Objects in Mirror didn't come out the way I wanted it to be. It just didn't come up the way I wanted it to be. It's just, yeah. So I really don't know. I really don't know. Yeah.
This one is 11.98, but for 12 months it's a promotion, so it's 10.98, but $100 for utilities, so 11.98, including utilities.
Ok, este es el precio, señor Michel.
Yeah.
Mil ciento, 1198, pero como va a firmar un año y le dan un mes de descuento, entonces queda en este.
Ok.
En 1098 plus 100 utility fees. This is what it is every month. So serían 1200.
Ok, no, perfecto.
Ya él es
Perfecto.
Él es el agente, the agent. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just sold my house.
Okay.
So I sold my house, I quit my job, and I have the income because what I get the house, what I get the house and the Social Security, so I have no problem paying 1 year in advance.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And this, you like it? It's good?
I really like it.
Okay.
I really
The
like it.
kitchen is, yes.
Perfect, right? Yeah.
Alright, almost forgot to film one of these. Time now is at 1:46 a.m. in the morning. On Jimbo's. I don't know what that means. Yeah, so today nothing all that crazy happened. It's day 4. And it's come to a close, and yeah, I really need to train myself to sleep earlier, but I can't. It's nearly 2 a.m. now. Fuck me. I still have a lot of things to do and watch and edit, so I'm kind of screwed. But anyways, not a lot happened today. I think I'm moderately productive, like, because I edited so much last night that today I ended up not having a lot to edit and film. So I did one review. I haven't watched anything yet. I went to Target. So I had lunch at like 6 p.m. And then afterwards at around 6:30 I went out. I took a bus and went to Target. And I like that nowadays I go to Target. I don't even know what I'm going for. I'm just going just whatever. So I went to Target and I actually found the exact same Teflon non-stick pan that I'm using now, and it's 20 something dollars. Plus I got an alcohol spray, and then I went to find a hair dryer. I found it. There's one kind of hair, I think two. No, there's one type of hair dryer there, and it cost $24.9. I went to Amazon and checked. I was like, well, what if I just order it on Amazon? Turns out it's like half the price. It's $10 on Amazon plus shipping. It's probably like $12, so it's like half the freaking price. So I'm like, well, why don't I just order it on Amazon? So I went to the register, the self checkout, and I like scanned all the barcodes and everything. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna buy the hair dryer. So I tried to like exit, but I can't. So I just walked away and put down the hairdryer and lined up again and went to a different register. So I have no idea how to exit the thing. And that's pretty much it. Went back home. Um, a little bit before leaving to Target though. Before I even filmed the review, I heard the door opening and suddenly a huge group of people entering into the apartment, which is a huge what the fuck moment. At first I thought, oh, okay, it's Vanessa and her boyfriend and some friend and I don't know. Okay, fuck it. Turns out it's worse. It's visitors. So earlier this morning I received an email from like a property manager saying that there will be people who's coming to visit the apartment. Um and so it's apparently this I don't know. I didn't see them obviously, so it's probably a property manager or a leasing agent or something, and a whole ass family. I hear a whole ass family in there, and it's Latino because they speak Spanish, and with a Mexican accent, I believe. So it's like I hear a whole family, like a father, a child. I hear a child speaking. There's probably a teenager or a young adult somewhere in there. It's really weird, and they're speaking half English, half Spanish. And I just hear at the very end, I just hear the leasing agent saying, "Oh, so are you ready to sign tonight or something?" And then he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll sign. You know, this looks good. Yeah, that's great." And I'm just thinking, looks good? There's trash on the ground. It's stinking. This apartment is in shambles. What do you mean looks good? So yeah. Anyways, that's that. So I don't know. So I that kind of sucks. Honestly, I was really expecting a hot Asian girl to be in the room across mine. At least be an Asian person. If it's another Chinese dude, I'm cool with it. But like, come on. Like, nothing against Latinos. I have Latino best friends and everything. You know, Jonathan's coming over for a movie night. It's just, I just living with Asians and just living with USC students at least. Like, at least have that guy be a USC student. Maybe he is a USC student, but the fact that he came over with a whole ass family makes me think, okay, I feel like this is just one of those. And I also heard him saying, "Oh, you know, I'm unemployed and I don't really have any income right now." I feel like he's one of those people who like lives nearby but has to live alone and doesn't have a job and just wants a cheap apartment to live in for the time being. So that sucks. It is moments like this I wish I live in USC housing. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully this is a false alarm. Hopefully it's an Asian person living in here, okay? So that we can all like not wear shoes in the apartment, keep everything clean. Yeah. An Asian woman would be ideal, but not this. But hopefully, if I live here long enough, eventually we'll have another Ashley and Rachel, you know. So that's that. Um, what else? Nothing else. I called Michelle for a while having dinner. Which is usually one of the reasons why I run out of time every fucking night. I mean, not every night, but like, you know. But yeah, I'm confirmed. I'm seeing Cliff tomorrow at CMD, which is kind of scary. I hope I don't run into Leslie. If I do, I'm just gonna walk away and avoid her in all costs. I'm gonna wear a hat and everything because this is traumatizing for me. Yeah, and and then I guess that's pretty much it. I think I'm gonna actually go to Crunchyroll store and buy the ReZero Blu-ray. Might as well. I'll buy it eventually anyway, so might as well buy it now. Yeah. And I also, while I was at Target, I also went and looked around for a toilet paper holder and everything, and I did found one, so that's really good. Oh, and after I came back home, I worked out. I was like, well, actually, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna work out because, you know, because I can, you know. And I realized I'm getting fat, like my belly is getting fat. And I was thinking, like, what should I do aside from just lifting and doing push-ups and sit-ups? And I'm like, yeah, cardio exercises like jumping jacks. Oh my god. I did like 10 jumping jacks and I'm broken. Because it's been so long since I've done something like that. So I did 10 jumping jacks and my legs were shattered. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to report. Nothing else. I'm chilling. Yeah. I'm low-key excited to return to CMD tomorrow, but also not. Tiny thing, not really relevant, but I'll talk about it anyways, and that is, when I was talking to Michelle, I mentioned Mary, and I compared Mary with Leslie, and Michelle's like, oh, can you show me a photo of Mary? And I'm like, okay. And this is actually the first time I've ever shown a photo of Mary to anyone in the world of LA. So I showed it to her, and it's like, wow, I almost forgot how beautiful she is. God damn. Like I sent her a photo from her Instagram, and it's like, Jesus Christ, she's staring into my soul. Like in those photos, I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know. And you can say all you want about Mary being basic sometimes, but honestly, there's just something alluring about her. Still, like of course I don't think of her the same way as I used to think of her. Like, ooh, she's this mysterious woman. But I can totally understand why I would think that way, you know. So yeah, Mary is Mary. She is. Yeah. Alright, time now is 12 afternoon on March 12th. Yeah, I slept from 6 a.m. to 12, basically 6 to 12. Yeah, I fucked up. 6 a.m. again. 6 a.m. again. Last night, the call with Michelle definitely made things difficult. I should have just immediately gone to bed, even though I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. I then spent almost 3 hours editing a trailer for my short film, which at first seemed impossible because I had no idea how to approach it. But once it clicked, it really clicked. And I'm actually kind of impressed and proud of the trailer I have now, but it took me a while to edit it, you know, it took me a while. After the trailer, it was already like 4 a.m., and I wanted to watch something. I wanted to finish watching Expats Episode 5, which I started watching last night, but at last I give up. And then I watched one episode of Evangelion, and it's already 5 a.m. So, yeah, fuck me, I guess. I really need to sleep earlier tonight. So this leaves me tonight, which is Tuesday, Wednesday night, and Thursday night to sleep earlier. And then on Friday, I'm going to Santa Barbara. So, yeah, tonight I have to go to bed earlier than 5. Tomorrow night, it has to be earlier than 4. Oh my god. And then Wednesday, it has to be earlier than 3. Yeah? Yeah. And then, yeah. I still don't know what to do for tomorrow. Again, another day of nothingness. Maybe I'll go to Ralph's to buy more food. Who knows? But, yeah, tomorrow is another day of nothingness. Maybe that's what I needed, because even though it's spring break, I still keep running out of time to do things, because I keep giving myself things to do. I want to draw, I want to read and write and work out and watch so many TV episodes and movies and anime and film a lot of videos. I don't know. It's crazy that even though I'm waking up at 12 at noon, I still manage to only sleep for 6 hours. I'm so tired. But yeah, today's gonna be kind of fun because I'm going back to CMD to meet up with Cliff to color my short film. My side quest there is to talk to Professor Antonio and ask him for a letter of recommendation in person. Because I've been trying to reach him for a whole month already, but failing constantly because he doesn't read emails or texts. And hopefully I don't see Leslie, because if I do, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah, the last time I saw Leslie was September last year. And I don't want to see her again. It's been a good 5-ish months since I've last seen her. Maybe even 6 months, half a year since I've seen her. I don't really need to see her ever. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Fuck me. Shit. Alright, so it's flex day, which means that none of the editing days are open, which means that there's nothing I can do. So, I'm going home. Fuck. God damn. God damn, these are pretty houses. Right. Time now is 7:57 p.m. Um, yeah, I know it's still not really late, but I'm just gonna wrap up today because today has basically ended for me. So, yeah, today is day 5 of spring break, and originally it's supposed to be somewhat interesting, but it ended up not being that interesting because yeah, so I went to CMD. I woke up and I immediately had breakfast and I barely had time to eat lunch and I didn't know what to eat for lunch. I'm in a food crisis again. Even though a few days ago I only went to H Mart to buy food. I'm at a food crisis again. I don't have anything to eat for lunch and I don't even know what to eat for lunch. Like my mind suddenly blanked. I have some bread and I ate it with some cream cheese and honey and it's fucking disgusting. I had some salami but that's terrible. And I realized that for the past few days, I've been having nothing for lunch. I've been having leftover burrito from Taco Bell. Half of this, half of that. And back in the Hong Kong days, I used to have actual meals for lunch, like rice with vegetables and meat and all that stuff. So, anyways, I went to CMD. I and Cliff were supposed to meet up at 2 p.m., but I ended up arriving at around 2:40 something, and Cliff is even later than me. But that's to be expected. I always expect us to be late because we're always late. So this is to be expected. I arrived and I was a little scared at first, like, oh my god, will I run into someone I know? Will Leslie be there? Will Cuccio be there? Turns out no biggie. I pretty much haven't ran into anyone aside from Miles. I specifically avoided the main area of CMD, like the main building, and I went the other way. And there's this little hidden sitting area outside the computer lab, and I saw a guy, and boom, it's Miles, and I'm like, hey. And it's really weird because like I'm this weird aloof character now. Like I'm out of the canon now. I'm in USC now. But yet I would just randomly show up one day at CMD. So we fist bumped each other and then we just talked a little bit and then Cliff arrived and Cliff told me to look for Professor Antonio first. And I walked around, I went to his office, I knocked the door, there's nobody. And then Cliff came and Cliff said he saw Drew and Drew said that today is flex day, which means that he can't open the editing bay for us because technically the teachers and the professors are not supposed to be here and he doesn't want to get into trouble, which is a humongous bummer. And I was ready to give up, but so I met up with Cliff. Cliff was just gonna walk home by himself and I'm like, no, so I went over to see him. He's right at the entrance. And so I and Cliff talked a little bit, and Cliff exhausted all the possibilities. He tried to contact the campus police, doesn't work. So he went to the campus police office at CMD. It's empty. And then we made a bunch of phone calls. Well, he made a bunch of phone calls, and nobody picked up. And it's flex day, and I guess the entire college just shuts down on that day. All the phone lines just shut down. So that's that. There's this old dude in an editing bay. Both I and Cliff were like, well, who the hell is he and how did he get in? But anyways, before we left, Cliff was like, okay, actually you can talk to Drew about the recommendation letter, because I wanted to see Professor Antonio to talk about the recommendation letter. And Cliff was like, oh no, Drew can write one too. And I'm like, oh really? So I went and said hello to Drew, and Drew was like literally doing this, like he's just like kneeling down and like just being stressed out. And then I'm like, hey, Drew. And he's like, oh hey. And I just said like a few things like, oh, I'm here to color the short film with Cliff. And Drew explained the situation with me again. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'll come back tomorrow. Which fucking sucks. I wanted to sleep all day tomorrow again. And by sleep all day, I mean sleep in and wake up naturally. And also, Cliff isn't free tomorrow afternoon. So if Cliff wants to edit and color with me, it has to be done in the morning at 10:30 a.m., which means that I need to wake up early as fuck, and that's terrible. I don't want to do that. So, I guess the sacrifices I have to make for my short film, I guess. But I thank Drew for opening the classroom door to let us film there, and I also asked Drew about recommendation letter. I can tell Drew isn't too fond of writing a letter for me. I guess he's just tired of this shit. But he said I can email him and remind him to remind Antonio to write me a letter recommendation. And he said we can go from there. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we left. I and Cliff, we talked a little more. I showed Cliff my trailer, which I'm actually low-key proud of. The trailer for Objects in Mirror. But it's like, it's just kind of conventional. It's funny because I asked Cliff, so what do you think of Objects in Mirror, like the story? And Cliff is like, oh, I like it. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. But really? And Cliff is like, yeah, I like how unconventional it is. And I'm like, okay. Even though this is already kind of playing safe, like, as far as story structures go, like, this is already kind of safe. Like, there isn't a lot of insane shit in the short film. Like, I can do so much more. But yeah, we said our goodbyes, so I had no choice but to just go all the way back home. So I went back to the metro, took all the way metro back to USC, and here I am. And then I'm like, well, given that I have time now and I don't have food, might as well just go to Ralph's. So I went back home, chilled for maybe 20 more minutes, and then I left again, went to Ralph's. For some reason, it's a really good day. Like, the sky looks really good. It's also kind of breezy. It's chilled and not cold. You know, and that's how you know spring has finally arrived. And everything's very calm and quiet. Like, I didn't listen to music because I already listened to a lot of music on the metro. And then, thank God, free Lyft still works. So I took free Lyft. And it's very quiet and it's very fast, and it finally came, and I went back home and I unpacked a bunch of stuff, and now I'm happy because I have a bunch of food now. So I'm a happy boy. So hopefully I don't run out of food at all. Tonight I'm gonna have, so I just ate a wrap, like half a wrap. Yeah, chicken cheese wrap thing. With corn and beans. Tonight I'm gonna do beef, onions. It's already 8 p.m. Fuck me. Beef, onion, rice with bok choy, which is very simple, but I'm gonna finish the soup, which I'm very excited to do because the soup tastes good. I love soups. And yeah, I think that's it. There's another thing where this morning, apparently the Chungking Express on eBay has now reduced to $85, which was really attractive. For once, it's lower than $100. So I wanted to buy that, and then I did a lot of thinking, and I'm like, never mind. I did some calculations, and I realized if I buy Chungking Express from Criterion for $85 fucking dollars, that is about 0.9. Okay, $85 after taxes and shipping, it's 91-ish. And the movie is 96 minutes long. So that's $91 for 96 minutes. That's about $0.9 per minute. That's messed up. The most expensive one I've purchased so far is Bakemonogatari. $270. And it's $0.7 per minute. And even that one was cheaper than getting Chungking Express. I won't get Chungking. Now, maybe I've just missed a fantastic opportunity. Maybe. Or maybe I'm smart. Maybe they'll give me an even greater discount. If it drops below $80, or if it drops until $70, I'll buy it. But right now, no. Instead, I'll get ReZero Season 2 Limited Edition Blu-ray. That's a whole ass season. That's 24 episodes. That's 6 hours. $67 after taxes and shipping. Probably 70 something for 6 hours worth of footage. It's totally fucking worth it, okay? So I'm gonna do that. And yeah, I guess I have nothing. I do have something to do tomorrow. To go to CMD. And also, after 2 p.m., So tomorrow I will maybe wake up at 10. I'll just immediately eat a breakfast and then I'll leave at around 10:30. Nah, 10. Yeah, 10. Fuck it, fine. I don't want to wake up any earlier than 10. 10, eat a breakfast. 10:30 I leave. 11:15 I arrive at CMD, and then we just color the thing within maybe 3 hours. Within 2.5 hours we finish it, and then at around 2, Kuchio is going to show up, which is very interesting. Ooh, Kuchio is still here because Kuchio is, he's not teaching film 33, but yet he's still lurking around. Fuck, So I don't want to see that guy. Neither do I want to see Leslie. And today's flex day, so all the staff has disappeared, so it makes sense that Leslie's not here. But tomorrow, she may appear, and that would be a bit of an issue. But it's okay because I'm gonna go with caution. I'm gonna wear a hat or something. I'm gonna wear my beanie over there. I realize I haven't worn my beanie all winter. I should do that. I should do that as a form of disguise, And yeah. So, but it's okay because the coloring shouldn't take very long. Love and Death took us 3 whole days because it's a lot of shots, but this one is going to take very short. All we need to do is to finish. Cliff has already colored the 5-minute version, so he already knows what he's doing. We just need to color the full version and then, do the trailer and then do the poster and then we're good, basically. So, yeah. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm just going to chill at home. Maybe I'll go back to bed. Maybe not, actually, Maybe not. Who knows? And then that's it. And then Thursday, that's movie night. Friday, I'm going to Santa Barbara. Saturday, nothing. Sunday, the end of Evangelion. Maybe I'll go to church on Sunday. Maybe, because I'm just bored out of my brains. Spring break, kind of underwhelming. It wouldn't be underwhelming if I have, like, a date. If I have someone in my life, then I would just hang out with her for 7 days straight and abandon all my homework, I think that's, like, the only situation where it wouldn't be boring for me, but yeah. Time to get a little philosophical, actually. Because, again, I've been thinking lately that if I'm successful... Oh, also before that, I do have to mention that I got a 100% on my CEP3 from a religion class, so that's cool. Okay. I really do believe that part of being the detective is to be kind of this loser character who has no girlfriends, no money, broke, and is constantly sad and anxious. And if I stop doing that, if I somehow get a girlfriend or somehow get a lot of money, drive a car, all that jazz, I will lose the title of being the detective. And the only way to face that is to create an alter ego. And when I write, I'm the detective. When I write and direct, I'm a detective. When I live, I am Enoch, and I allow myself to change and grow and develop as Enoch, but, the detective is a persona, and I am only, changing and developing, so, yeah, that's it. I don't know. It's interesting, Jamie, the Chinese girl, who I ran into a couple of times, is actually friends with Shirley, who was one of the girls in my world building class. Didn't expect that. But also, it's a small world we live in at the end of the day. Also, again, it's only been half a semester since I've been in USC. Who knows? Maybe I'll start meeting interesting people. Somehow, maybe if I get onto film sets in the latter half of the semester, maybe if I join more club meetings of APCA and HKSA, maybe I'll find someone interesting along the lines. Who the hell knows? Another girl who was at the Oscars watch party, Catherine is her name. I thought she's just like Chinese American or like Asian or something. And I checked her Instagram and she has a Hong Kong flag in her bio, which is like, what? Because I didn't get that vibe at all. Maybe she's like first generation, but okay. That's intriguing. But you know what? I'm not gonna like. I'm going to hold out hope that I would one day run into someone interesting and I'm gonna succeed. I'm gonna hold out hope. But just because I'm holding out hope doesn't mean I'm expecting it. There's a difference between expecting something and thinking that that something is going to happen versus trying, I think. So, okay, holding out hope is not the right word. I don't have hope. I think having hope in this day and age in LA is a terrible idea. LA is not a very hopeful place, I have to I mean, to be fair, Hong Kong is even less of a hopeful place. Hope in the world is a bad thing, but at least I'll try. I remember doing jumping jacks on the ground yesterday and thinking to myself, yes, I'm fucking doing it. I'm eating food, I'm getting proteins, I'm working out, I'm reading, I'm shaving my face, I'm doing my absolute best to, look good, and act good. So I'm trying. If that doesn't lead me anywhere, so what? So what? And yeah, I think Leslie was a great lesson to me. Even though it's a spectacular failure, it's a disaster. But I think I've again, like, to put in retrospect, when I decided to confess to Leslie, part of me was like, well, she's disposable. If I truly, truly, truly love her so much that I can't let her go, I wouldn't even confess to her because that risks a rejection. So I was willing to take that risk with Leslie because I thought that she's disposable. She's great, but she's not the absolute best. At the end of the day, Mary is still better. Let's be honest here. But I think I've confessed. I've done that once, I'll never do that again. Because I'm older than 20 years old. I'm older than 18. B, I think now I know, I've learned the concept of confidence. So with Leslie, I played my softness even more than normal. Like with the 998 or 988 fish incident, I was like, oh, please don't kill the fish, please don't kill the fish. And I'm squirmy and I cried when I confessed to her. I played my softness too much. I need to be hard too. So of course I can't be like a macho man because I'm not a macho man. I have to be somewhere in the middle, I think most important of all, I need to be confident and really like where I'm at in life, really be okay with what I have. And I need to work on that because that's like inner, that's mental. That's not outer. That's not appearance. That's in the mind. It's mental. And I guess finally, I think I am less scared now. Like with Mary, I was trembling when I said hi. With Leslie, I didn't start trembling until the confession. But I think the next one will be it, okay? 3 times a fucking charm. Again, like, next time, I will not confess. Next time I like someone, I'm just going to riz her up so much that she likes me back. But I hate that because it would still be at my expense. If I love someone more than that person loves back, then I am doing more effort, and that's unfair. I wish someone would like me more than I like them back. Which is insane for me to say because my requirement is that I like that person to an extremity. So maybe at the end of the day, I have to like someone more than they have to ever like me back because that's sort of my basis. So I don't really know, but either way, 3rd time's a charm, okay? Yeah, just let's hold out hope, okay? Please. I know the world is a gray, sad, disgusting place, and people who you think will never have girlfriends will have a girlfriend before you do. But it's okay. And also, again, like, I need to train myself to not keep thinking about that because life is so much more than girlfriends and relationships. And, relationships are cool and everything, but, there are many other things that are just as cool, like movies. And that's dystopian because socializing is like a human thing, but it's 2024, bitch. Like, it's no longer. um, but yeah, I have also been thinking about buying a cabinet in Target. I've thought about placing it here, but I realized that this is too narrow of a space. So my solution is I'm gonna take this, slide it under the bed, and then I'll place all my figurines on the new cabinet. And I'll just place the cabinet right here where the blue luggage is. And then after that point, that's it. I think my entire room is maxed out. Yeah, I don't plan on ever moving from here, even though this place sucks and I may have absolutely awful roommates. I was really scared. Like today, when I went back home, I was like, oh my god, what if I have a new roommate and it's just some big, tough Latino guy who just makes everything very messy. Like, I know this sounds problematic. It doesn't have to be Latino. Even if it's an Asian guy, like a big, tough Asian guy or white guy or whoever, makes a mess. Like, oh my god. I just wish I have a good roommate. I just really wish. Rachel and Ashley, they were truly 2 in a million. So I really beg to have good roommates. And yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing else. Alright, time now is 12:09 after midnight. I don't really have a lot to say, really. I just finished dinner. Super late, I know. But it's good. It's good dinner. It's rice with beef slices and onion and a whole yellow onion, in fact, and then bok choy with oyster sauce, and then the apple pear soup. I drank another bowl. Feels really good. I love soup. Jesus Christ. But yeah, just a couple more things. One minor incident that really pissed me off was my burrito, my chicken wrap that I bought in Ralph's falling onto the ground, like out of the box and then onto the ground. Because why not? And the ground is already really dirty because everyone here wears outside shoes, but also the box is so weak. So I grabbed a piece of tissue paper and I dipped it some water and wiped it. I wiped a wrap, you know. I think that's the only thing I'm gonna say. There's one more thing I was gonna say, but I kind of forgot already. Yeah, I kind of have forgotten already, have I? Yeah. Oh well, I'm gonna try to sleep early tonight, and then, yeah, let's hope for the best for tomorrow morning. Okay, so now it's 10 a.m. On March 13th. So, yeah, I slept from 5-ish, maybe 5:05 to 10 a.m. That's a little bit less than 5 hours, which is not bad, but I fucking hate it. I feel like shit. It's not terrible. It is bad. But yeah, I think yesterday I was really productive though. I was able to finish a lot of things. I rewatched 4 episodes of Evangelion instead of 6, but you know, it's fine. And then I even spent maybe 5 minutes drawing, even though it literally didn't mean anything. I think it's okay, you know. Like, I was gonna sleep at 4:30. Like, my goal was 4:30, but I ended up going to bed at 5, which is a shame. But you know what? It's an improvement nonetheless. Yeah. So tonight the goal would be 3:30. Yeah. Or around 4 a.m. If I can go to bed at that time, it would be insane. So please let me do that. So yeah, today I'm going to CMD again. 2 days back to back. To color my short film with Cliff. And I may run into Leslie and Cuccio, which are I just really don't look forward to it all. But yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna come back home and yeah. And then that's it, you know, and then I'm done. I kinda wanna go back to sleep, but I can't. But Jesus Christ, I'm so sleepy. Jesus Christ. I've been having a headache. I've been having headaches. I think the headache isn't just coming from the fever. I think I had the headache because I slept so late. Even though I slept enough, if I sleep late, I feel like I have the headache too. So yeah. Fuck. I'm gonna go buy a cup of coffee in Cafe Russo or something. Fuck me, I almost lost my wallet. But now I'm overshot by one station. And I have to take the bus to CMD. And my belly hurts.
The bread is made and into the ovens. Let my people go. Pharaoh promises to set us free, but as soon as God makes all the frogs hop away, Pharaoh breaks his promise. So God makes a new plague and turns.
Here.
Can you?
He's like, no. He's standing here on the stairs. And then.
Okay. But I made the red. Okay.
Oh.
$5 to get in.
Oh my.
No, it's not good.
Can you see crosses outside?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you are
Okay, it's in her email.
Yeah.
Arg. It's a famous editing house, and
want, I can text you and tell whatever. Because also the other room over there we couldn't access because it's admin only today.
At what?
Admin only. It
I
doesn't.
did you ask Juliet?
Yeah, I think he talked with Romano, but I didn't saw anybody come in and fix it.
Yeah, because Drew gave me a hard drive that I can only use on Mac.
Alright, so my laptop is screaming, but that's okay, just ignore that. That's just gonna turn into white noise. So time now is 9:16 p.m. Let's talk about today. Yeah, so today is quite thought-provoking. So I woke up very early, and by very early I mean 10 a.m. And then I couldn't get out of bed. I went back to sleep for maybe 20 more minutes ish. And then I woke up, had a bowl of cereal, and left. So that's unfortunate. I wish I could just sleep all day, but unfortunately, reality doesn't look like that. So I took a metro and finally arrived at CMD. I arrived at around 11:40. So while I was taking the metro, I was sort of focused on listening to music and writing Violent Femme. Suddenly, I look out and I'm like, holy shit, it's the station that I need to get off. So I immediately stood up and ran out the door. But oh my god, I am a genius. Because right before I left the metro train, I touched my jacket pocket. I do that, it's like a little habit of mine, but I always check my pockets. When I walk out of trains and walk out of buses, I always check my pockets to make sure I don't lose anything important. Like my phone. My phone's always in my hands anyways. My earbuds and my wallet. And I touch it and I'm like, what the? My entire wallet is gone. So I looked back and I was listening to music so I couldn't hear them. I looked behind me and a couple passengers, they were saying something and one of them is holding up my wallet. So that guy tossed the wallet into the air and I caught it. But I thought to myself, hold on, something's off. How about my tap card from USC? And it's still on the ground. So that guy saw it, another guy saw it and picked it up, and he just gave it to me. She just handed it to me. But after all that conundrum, the doors have closed, and the metro train, continued onwards. So I just overshot by a bus stop because I almost lost my wallet. But you know what? I'd rather get my wallet back than to, be quote unquote on time for a coloring session, obviously. So it's fine, fuck it. So I took the train, one stop away, one stop further. Also, I'm really tired, so I can't speak properly. I'm sorry. So I overshot by one stop, and I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do now? So I'm at the train stop that is nearer to the main campus. So I whipped out my transit app and it says take bus number 1, so I'm like fine. So I walked 7 minutes to Santa Monica Boulevard, took bus number 1, went to that stop, walked to CMD, the usual walk, the walk that I always walk. And I thought that was quite nostalgic. And I listened to some Kikwo, which is again, Kikwo's music is what I always associate Film 33 with because I sort of discovered him while taking Film 33. So I listened to his music to get in the mood. But honestly, I didn't really feel much. For some reason, me going back to my old secondary school is so much more like, ooh, the feels. But this one is still, it's not that nostalgic. It's nostalgic, but not that nostalgic. But anyways, I went to CMD. I put on a beanie so that people won't recognize me. To avoid Cuchillo and Leslie. Mainly, to avoid them both. But alas, it didn't fucking work. So I went in there, and again, I didn't go in through the main building. I went in through the side building. I went up, and I went to the editing. I saw Miles again, talked to him a little bit, and he kept talking and talking and talking about animation and whatever. Bro, I'm busy. So I went to the editing bay, and I found Cliff. So I saw Cliff, and I saw another person, and I'm like, holy shit, is that Cuchillo? And then I heard a voice. It's a woman. Hey Enoch, long time no see, or something. And that's a Kiara's voice. So, okay, I'm safe. I'm in good hands. So I entered the room. It's Cliff and Kiara hugged me, and we proceeded to color my short film. So, they're actually editing Passed Over, which is the Film 33 short film after Ends and Means, and I was really curious. It feels really wrong for me to watch the newest cut of Passed Over. Um, Given that I'm not even in that class, and I'm considered like a dangerous personnel now, I guess, because I am against Cuchillo and all that. But I was able to watch most of the short film, like the current cut, and honestly, it's not bad. Like it's way better than Ends and Means. It looked way better. I think Andrew Kay, the guy who directed it, I think he did a good job. There's some interesting shot choices, and the ending is quite nice and poetic. And there's definitely some cringy moments. There's definitely a bad lighting here and there. There's definitely some terrible acting. And again, it's very questionable because it's a short film about Jewish people, and in the current state of the world right now, it's not the best of times to produce a short film like this. But you know what? It's whatever. So we proceeded to color my short film, and even though we originally thought, okay, we're going to finish coloring it in 2 hours, obviously we didn't finish coloring in 2 hours because all sorts of problems start happening. But it's not as problematic as Love and Death. Love and Death me and Cliff took a while coloring Love and Death because most of the time we're just trying to bring the project, the editing timeline from my Premiere to his DaVinci. I mean, on the PC inside the editing bay. But it's less problematic this time around. But yeah, also Kiara was with us the entire time, and Kiara was able to watch it, and he's like pretty impressed. And honestly, from a technical standpoint, it is pretty cool. There are a lot of cool shots in here, a lot of cool cinematography. But I still have to admit, I think the story of Object and Mirror is still not as powerful in my opinion. But that's just me. I really wish I could find a balance between actual good personal storytelling versus good, technical quality, and also like good, compelling plot, like storytelling in general, like something that viewers can immediately chew on, some Pong Joon-ho type beat, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we colored it, and as we were coloring it, it's like, okay, wait, Cliff, didn't you have class at 2 p.m.? And he's like, no, I just need to edit something with Cuchillo. And I'm like, oh, so Cuchillo's here. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So apparently Cuchillo is teaching both Film 32. I thought he completely left the college, but I mean for one semester. But no, he's teaching both Film 32s while Professor Antonio is teaching 33, which is very interesting. And also Cuchillo is teaching Film 7. So Cuchillo is very much here. Holy balls. So it's fine. I'm in this editing bay. I'm snuck. I'm cozy in this place. I brought snacks and everything. And I was editing it. We were coloring it. Everything went well. Yeah. So at around 3 p.m. ish, it's like, okay, where's Cuchillo? Now the suspense is getting more and more. So Kiara stood guard. She stood right beside the window to like look out to make sure, to see if Cuchillo is here or not. And Cliff started to constantly check his phone to make sure, Cuchillo isn't texting him or anything. So I'm like, oh my god, So, and I think I'm the person at the highest stakes because Cuchillo probably hates me, whereas Cuchillo loves Cliff, and Kiara is more towards the love side, but I'm definitely on the blacklist. So there are more stakes for me. So at last Cliff was like, okay, Cuchillo's coming up. So Cliff left, and thank God the moment he left, we just finished coloring and we're exporting the video in 4K. So we got everything in time, except for the trailer. So Cliff was like, oh, Kiara, why don't you just do it for me? Do it instead of me. And Kiara's like, okay, do you trust me, Enoch? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, also, so there are a couple of moments, right? Before that moment, fucking what's his name? Udav, the Indian guy, showed up and like went in and was like, "Oh, Enoch, is this your short film?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was joking around, I was cozy, and I always impersonate the Indian professor. And so I did an Indian accent as a joke without realizing that an Indian guy is right next to me. So I did that, and halfway through the sentence, I stopped, and Cliff started laughing. And Udav was like, "Why are you laughing?" And Cliff's like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just laughing at the frame, like the short film, you know." And it's just so awkward. And Kiara also realized it as well, but I don't think Udav realized it. I think Udav just didn't really think that it was an Indian impression, or maybe he did pick up, but he just didn't care. But that's something that happened, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, there was another moment where Kiara talked about how Jade and Avichai, the French and the Israeli guy, the French girl and the Israeli guy, after I and Ken showed off our short films in Justin's departure party, Jade and Avichai were like, "Wow, like what are we doing with our lives? Like these people know what they're doing," and to know that a French girl and an Israeli guy and probably many other people think that I know what I'm doing and look up to me, or not look up to me, but like, like think highly of me is very flattering. Like it's crazy because when I came to USA, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be an underdog. Like, everyone's gonna be very good at filmmaking, and I'm gonna have to like, you know, work from the bottom. But turns out I'm in good hands. But anyways, Cuchillo moment, right? So Cuchillo showed up, and I heard Cliff and Cuchillo walk past us, and I just like sort of, I was sitting tightly on my chair, and they didn't notice me. Great job. So we continued to edit the trailer, and at some point, we're like, screw it. The not Black Magic, DaVinci Resolve kept crashing, and we couldn't do anything with coloring the trailer. So at the end, we sort of gave up. Also, it's very obvious that Kiara is less adept. She's less well versed in DaVinci than Cliff. Cliff just knows what he's doing. He knows how to link footage and blah blah blah. And Kiara's like, oh, what's going on? So instead, we're just like, okay, screw it. We're just gonna copy we're just gonna leave the trailer alone. I'm gonna copy the 4K footage into my hard drive and call it a day. I can't, because apparently my hard drive is Windows only, and the computer is a Mac. So we have to copy it to Cliff's hard drive, unplug Cliff's hard drive, and then copy it into my laptop. Fine. So yeah, so that's what we did. And while copying, it took like half an hour. While copying, or I think a little bit before that maybe, Kiara suddenly stopped talking and looked behind me. And I also looked, and I saw a few streaks of pink, purplish, magenta hair in the corner of the window and then leaving. And I'm like, what? And Kiara's like, don't worry about it. It's your worst nightmare. It's my nightmare, and it's probably an even worse nightmare for you. And the moment she said that, I'm like, okay, I know what the fuck's going on. So I thought to myself, well, okay, I don't want to see Leslie anymore in my entire life, but at the same time, I kind of do. I don't know why. Like, a small part of me is like, maybe I should see her just one more time. Just for the funsies, see her in real life, But also, it's like, no, it's unhealthy for my mind. Fuck her, I hate her. Don't show up, please. So, okay. So a little later, while exporting, Cuchillo randomly appeared. He's like, oh, hey. And I'm like, no. So he saw Kiara and he's like, "Hi, Kiara." "Oh, hi. Who are you?" And I turned around and Kuchio said something along the lines of, "Oh, hey, who are you?" Or, "Hey, who is this?" And Kiara's like, "Oh, it's Enoch." And I stood up, and then Kuchio finally recognized that it's me, and he's like, "Oh, hi, Enoch. Hi, Enoch. You're just too backlit, because I was sitting in front of very bright not laptop, like bright monitors, and in a dark room, I basically look like a silhouette. So it's really awkward, and that's it. That's all he said to me. He comes off really nice, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Kiara, how are you doing?" But he just treated me like I'm not there. So I just looked at my phone, and I just, I secretly recorded his voice. Secretly filmed him a little bit. But yeah, he just treated me like I'm not there. And Kiara talked about how she found an internship with someone else, blah 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 blah, and then Kushio left, and I'm like, fuck. So there are two people in LA that I do not mess with. More like, not. Let me rephrase. I do mess with, but I won't. I can mess with, but I won't because I fucking hate them. So, one is Kuchio and the other is Leslie. So, lo and fucking behold, a couple minutes after Kuchio left, I was gonna be like, wow, well, fuck it, I have to leave now because this is a dangerous area. And I was gonna like gossip a little bit to Kiara and talk about Kuchio and Leslie a little bit, And right before I did that, suddenly there's a knock on the door, and it's her. It's Leslie. And I was just like, oh, okay. I'm not. It's weird because it's almost a little anticlimactic. Like, you would think it's been half a year since I've seen the girl I loved, the girl I cried over. You would think it's a super psychologically challenging moment, but no, for me it's very anticlimactic, probably because I'm kind of prepared for a situation like this. Probably because despite not seeing her for half a year, I keep thinking about her, or at least writing about her. So her suddenly showing up is like, okay, there she is. Boom. It's like studying animals, and then one day you see the animal. It's like, okay, well, that's it. But I don't know. It's a little bit anticlimactic, but also it's like, fuck me, I'm looking away. So I said 0 words. I was 100% silent. Leslie came in, and Leslie's like, how long are you two gonna be here? Alright, let me try a Chinese accent. Let me try a Mandarin accent. Honestly, she sounds pretty American. Like, she has an accent. She has a Mandarin accent, but it's not that strong or anything. She's like, how long are you two gonna be here? I don't know how to impersonate her. How long are you two going to be here? And I just looked away. And Kiara's like, oh, not too long, I just need to export some stuff, it's probably going to take an hour. And I just looked away. There are a couple moments where I just look at her. I'm like, okay, no, I gotta see her face. So I looked at her, and she never looked at me. She never gave me eye contact. And she looks about the same. Nothing's changed. She has magenta hair now. She just goes through different cycles. Sometimes she's blue, sometimes she's green, sometimes her hair is red, sometimes her hair is blonde. Like streaks of blonde, not full blonde. And this time it's magenta again. And she also does this aerial thing. I like to call it the aerial thing, but many Los Angelesinos do it, and that is if they have acne, they just stick a sticker, like a star, on their face. Well, okay. And so Leslie has like a couple of those, like right here and right here or something. I don't know. I'm like, okay. So, and then she left. And that's it. But it's just so fucked up. That's the girl who seduced Benny to finger her fucking vagina. She's the girl who, I mean, that's the bombshell. I mean, she's the girl who made me cry for 2 days straight. I couldn't breathe. She's the girl who, sort of ruined everything, you know. So, and then there she is, and it's almost a little hilarious. Okay, well, there she is. But yeah, after that, I'm just like, well, I gotta go. I gotta go. So, after the exporting is over, I packed up everything and just left. And I didn't see Leslie or Cuccio no more. And I took a train and went back home. And I feel a little weird. It's a little surreal because I live in downtown LA now, and now I'm sort of entering a new life. And yeah, it's still LA. Of course, Santa Monica is still sort of exists in the same universe, but it feels weird because I feel like Chiara, Cliff, Leslie, Cuccio, these characters are from the olden days. They're not, they're a different universe. They're from a different universe now. So, me taking the train is like me traveling back to the future. Taking the metro is like me traveling back to the future. It's like taking a sneak peek into the past and then leaving again. And as I look at the views of Culver City and La Cienega and sort of going through downtown, it's like it's like seeing time going forward. Instead of seeing space, I see time. It's like I'm going into the future, going back to the future. I was just at the past, now I'm going back to the future. And I was like, I thought to myself, yeah, I'm moving on, and it's still, I haven't fully grasped how crazy or how poignant it is that I'm moving on, how poignant it is and how sort of how I was also thinking in terms of violent femme, how at the end of the day I have to move on, and Leslie means nothing to me at the end of the day, other than just another character in my story. It almost feels weird because I don't feel anything for her anymore. Honestly, I'm glad. Low-key, I'm glad I saw her today because it's like the devil's temptation, I think her being here is like, her showing up is like a test to see if I still have feelings for her. And I honestly don't. I think I've managed to turn her into a character so much so that when I see her, I just feel distant from her. Like, I just don't really have any relations with her anymore. So, yeah. It's a little anticlimactic, but it's also kind of nice, but in a melancholic way. It's like, well, you meet someone and that someone turns into a stranger again, and it's okay because c'est la vie. That's life. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, went back home, and that's it. I don't know, and also, I guess just the idea of, that CMD used to be my everything, but now it's not. So, that world felt smaller now, So, I don't know, I just wish that I could fall in love with someone fast. Fast love. I wish I could be interested in someone in USC and somehow successfully date that person. Because I don't like being stuck in between, I just got out of a toxic potential relationship and I'm all loser and whiny about it, and and I'm still that way. And most importantly, it's like a vengeance. It's like when you what's a good allegory? I'm not thinking straight here. Sometimes when I walk through a doorway, I accidentally bump my shoulder against the wall, and that really pisses me off. So I immediately back up and do the same action again and make sure I don't do it. Even though I already bumped my shoulder onto the wall, I want to do it again just to prove it to myself that I don't have to, and to pretend that bumping into the wall never happened. I think that's what I want to do with Leslie, is I want to immediately have the repeat of the same event, but I do things differently now. So I won't make the same mistakes again. And in a quick attempt to replace and rewrite history, even though history already happened, in a way, if I immediately do better, and emphasize on the word immediately, if I immediately do better, maybe that's how I'm going to rectify my experience, you know. So there's that. But part of me also think, well, if I'm not in love with anyone and I'm not interested in anyone right now, then who the fuck cares? Like, yeah, surely I'll stay single for the rest of 2024 as well. Might as well, you know. Like, that's a depressing thought, but that could be true. Then who cares then, you know? There really is nothing I can do. Might as well, you know. And I should be prepared for that, and I should be, you know, I don't know, I just feel like it's almost a little depressing that I'm at a point, even though I've never dated, I don't have a lot of experience in life in general, but I'm already at the point where I'm like, well, if I stay single for the next few years, it's okay. Because I've already given up. There are young people who are like, yes, don't worry, I'll date another person next month. At this point, I'm just like, well, fuck it. So, yeah. Either way, I'm excited for tomorrow because I will be seeing Jonathan. We're going to go to Target to buy a cabinet and a toilet paper roll stand. And then come back and we'll do a movie night at around 3 p.m. So it's not much of a movie night, more like a movie afternoon. Yeah. Excited for that. I'm really tired right now. I almost fell asleep when I was editing my own review. And yeah, I'm gonna run out of time again tonight, but I really need to sleep early tonight. 3:30, hopefully. That's my goal, honestly. And I gotta start planning my Santa Barbara trip. What else? Nothing else. I'm gonna buy the ReZero Blu-ray. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Yeah. I also DM'd Elin about how should I credit her name, because her last name should come first, because that's traditionally, it's a Chinese name, it's an Asian name, so, you know. And I'm scared she's going to be like, well, no, just put me as Elin first name, Elin family name. But no, she's like, oh yeah, sure, you know. So I'm glad she's like down to do that. So it's going to be good. You know, maybe my short film's not so bad. Maybe it's pretty good. I don't know, but yeah. Alright. This is olive oil. First time in 2 years. Okay, we'll do. Oop. That's a lot. Okay, that's enough. Okay. I added some cayenne pepper. I'm gonna cook it for a little bit. Also, new pan, by the way. Today's the first day I'm using it. Now, Ooh, okay. Now I'm gonna add this. Ooh, shit. All right.